Growing up, I used to really love collecting any kind of print items I came across, whether it was business cards, a ticket I had from a movie or a ticket from the train, paper doilies, packaging, stamps, any fun or interesting printed item that I could come across. And nowadays you see it being called junk journaling, collecting all those things and putting it together in a journal. As I got into my early 20s, I started to scan these things and use them in my designs. And these are the kind of things that you just won't find in Canva. They're the kind of things that make your designs really unique because nobody else has them. Because they're really random, obscure, and unique to you. Now, sure, there might be other people out there with them technically, but they're probably not using them like you are. They're probably not scanning them and turning them into designs. Now, sure, Canva has a huge library of really cool elements. Their element library is pretty impressive, to be honest. However, everyone has access to the same library. And so while you occasionally might find some really interesting and unique elements that you haven't really seen many other people using, the likelihood is that you'll probably now and then be using elements that a lot of people are using because everyone's got access to them. And if you start to train your eye towards Canva, you'll start to pick it up. You'll start to look at people's graphics and go, oh, they got that off Canva. And it's not to give away that, yeah, they use Canva for that. Obviously, that's not a bad thing that people can pick out that you made it on Canva. But the problem is it lacks that uniqueness then. It makes it very Canva-y rather than unique to your brand. And so while Canva is a great tool and you certainly want to be using that elements library to make your life easier to create graphics, adding in elements that are a little bit more unique and interesting is going to make your brand much more dynamic because it's not just going to look like everyone else because you haven't used elements that everyone else has access to. So why don't you want to look like everyone else? Well, back when I was in my late teens and early 20s, I worked at an ice cream shop, Mr. Whippy. Now, we were located quite in a central spot in the shopping centre, so you did a lot of people watching on those quiet days. And I remember one time noticing that a lot of men were wearing the same shirt. There was a particular shirt from one of the stores there that suddenly everyone seemed to be buying and wearing. The trouble with something being available to everyone means it can lack uniqueness. Suddenly everyone's got the same shirt. Everyone's using that same element. And it suddenly doesn't feel so much like you anymore. Maybe you created a graphic for your brand, you were so excited, it felt so you were really vibing with it, really loved it. And then you got on Instagram and saw someone else use that element and then another person use that element. And suddenly it doesn't feel so unique to you anymore. And the thing with branding is you want to have some things that people tie to your brand. When they see a particular thing, they think of you. So if you're only ever using things that everyone else can access, then what can they tie to your brand? There's nothing there that makes them go, oh, that's that brand. Instead, it's like, yeah, that's just like any other brand. You just start to blend in. It's kind of like having a signature handmade piece of clothing in amongst a wardrobe full of chain store clothes. It's that special piece that makes you stand out because no one else has it. It doesn't mean that everything you own has to be super unique, but you just have that sort of signature piece, those sort of signature things that make you different. So I want to encourage you to start your own elements collection. Start to build up elements that you can draw from that are unique to you or a little bit more rare. So while yes, you could go on somewhere like Creative Market or Creative Fabrica and go buy some elements that aren't on Canva, they still are readily available. Maybe there's that extra barrier to entry that people have to purchase them, but they're still readily available and there's still plenty of other businesses that are purchasing and using them as well. So let's run through a few fun different ways you can start your own elements collection. So first of all, photos. Now, when I first got into graphic design and went to graphic design school, one of the things my teacher taught me was to always have a camera on you. Always sort of notice little details, interesting textures and things, and take photos of things through your life. So just always have that camera in your back pocket to go and take photos. Now, this was before smartphones, so I would carry around a digital camera with me and I would often be taking the train to get there, and so I'd get on the train, I'd go walk from the train station to the design school. That basically there was lots of opportunities there for me to take photos of interesting things along the way, and it really became a habit for me, something that I really enjoyed doing and continued well beyond design school. I would often take a camera with me and just take photos of interesting things. It could be textures, it could be just something interesting that caught caught my eye. It doesn't have to be some wonderful posed photo shoot type photo. It's more about taking photos of just things that are interesting, things that could be utilized to create a texture, things that could be utilized to have an image of a particular item, anything really, just anything that catches your eye, because those photos are your photos. No one else will have them. And so being able to build up your own stock photo library as such is really valuable. And then you can build on this too and actually have moments where you do actual proper photo shoots as well. So you can have a base library of just random photos you take here and there along your days, but also set aside time to do proper photo shoots as well. Do brand photo shoots that are stylized flat lays and images of scenes that you can use as just general photos. Do photo shoots that have you in it, things like that. Just start to build up that library of imagery that you can use in your branding that's unique to you. I do also have a video on how to take your own stock photos, so you can So if you're intrigued by how you can actually do this yourself, you can check out that video to learn my whole process. Then there's found objects. So similar to creating a junk journal, start collecting random objects, whether it's receipts, tickets, bits of packaging, tape, any kind of thing that comes your way in life. If it's a larger object, you could take a photo of it. If it's just something that's small and flat, start collecting it, scanning it, all those things. Start to see everything that you come across in life as an opportunity to have it as an element in your stock library. Start seeing the world through the eyes of someone that is collecting their own stock imagery. Start thinking about how something could be used within design. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes the most interesting things are the most ordinary things, or even things that are a bit of a mess, like, you know, a receipt that's a bit ripped up or crumpled. It doesn't have to be anything perfect or pristine. You're basically just looking at the world in a different way, thinking, hey, that's kind of interesting, let's scan it and we could utilize that sometime. And always have your brand in the back of your mind too. Think about the types of things that really would suit your brand, so as you come across them in life, you can make sure that you scan them or take a photo of them, so you can start to build a collection of not just random things, but things that also align well with your brand. And there's creating textures and elements. I love creating textures, and there are so many ways you can do this. You can do it the analog way. You can get out some beautiful art paper, start putting down paint or, you know, gluing paper, ripping it back off to create a texture. You can get spack filler to try and build up layers of texture. There's kind of all sorts of fun things you can do with this, where you just get creative. Act like an artist, but instead of creating a painting of a physical object or anything, you're just creating texture. And another thing I find really fun to do is layering, where I might take a photo of an interesting shadow, I might scan in a paper texture, and then I go in and layer them digitally. So this is where I overlay things using different overlay effects to basically bring two textures together to create another really interesting texture. Now, you can do this in Canva, and I've got a tutorial on how to do that, so make sure you check that out because it's a really cool effect. It's something that I used to do in Photoshop, but you can now do it in Canva, and it creates some really interesting and beautiful effects. Now, there's an interesting way that you can also find unique imagery that isn't necessarily unique to you, but is a little bit more rare because less people are digging around finding these things. And that's looking at the Creative Commons libraries of museums. They have huge art collections full of images that are free for you to use. They've digitized them and put them up there for you to download, for you to utilize. Now, some of these libraries do include different rules in terms of copyright, so do make sure you double check those things, but there are plenty of free to use images and really interesting things that you could utilize. Things like the National Gallery of Art, the British Museum, the Met, Smithsonian. There are heaps of these libraries, so I'm going to link them down below if you want to check them out, because there's quite a lot of these and it's sort of endless. There's so much out there when you start digging around. So if you want to use old artworks, more historical type things, you can find a huge library of really interesting and beautiful things that you can utilize completely for free. And they're not just sitting there in Canva where everyone else is finding them. These sort of take a little bit more digging. So it's sort of like you have to go and find them, dig around, going through the archives, looking for things. And so less people are going to be using what you find there. And then of course there's hand creating. So we've gone through collecting, taking photos, looking through archives. now just creating things that are unique to you. This could be painting, drawing digitally, getting on Procreate, getting in some sort of vector software and drawing different vector shapes and things like that. And you don't have to be an artist to do this either. It can be just interesting textures and elements like blobs and scribbles. It certainly doesn't have to be a full illustration. If you can illustrate, then go for it, because that's going to be something very unique. But if you can't, just keep things simple. Do some little doodles, handwriting, scribbles, into some creative software and just play around. Grab some paint and just have a play around. You may find that it's just really fun to create unique and interesting things that you can then use in your graphics. I find that this is really about being playful and having fun, experimenting, just playing around. It doesn't have to be perfect. You could get some cardboard and cut out some shapes and scan it in. Play around with different ideas and concepts, and you may start to find things that you really love that you're like, hey, that was actually fun and it's actually really cool and it's really unique to me. And you could end up creating things that just really make your brand stand out because no one else is doing it. Now that you've got heaps of ideas for ways to create elements, I also want you to consider making this a habit. Don't just think, yeah, that's so fun, do it for a week and then forget about it all. It's sort of something that you need to ingrain in your life all the time so that it becomes a habit to continually build up this collection. This is something I got in the habit of very early on in my design career that I found that I don't even really think about it too much. I'm always just collecting little things here and there. Sure, I might not be endlessly adding heaps of things into some big folder full of stuff, but it's just here and there. I'm just creating something, making things, adding new elements and things that I can utilize, whether it's just when I'm out and about, go, oh, that's interesting, and taking a photo, or coming across an interesting bit of paper and bringing it home because I think, oh, I could utilize that. It doesn't have to be overly complicated, but it's more about just getting yourself into that mindset and sort of having that habit of always being on the lookout for things that you can collect. So habit 1 is always having a camera on you. So yes, if you've got a phone, you probably have a camera on you, so that's pretty easy to do. But if you wanted to, you could take a digital camera or a film camera if you wanted to create a bit of a different look to what your phone can produce as well. Sometimes it's fun to actually go for deliberate camera walks. So obviously it's good to have a camera on you all the time, but you can sometimes just go on camera walks where you deliberately take maybe a better camera or a film camera, something more interesting, and just go for a walk somewhere. Maybe one day you were out doing things and saw some interesting stuff and you thought, hey, there'd be good photos, but you know what? I'd rather bring a better camera. So then another day, go for a camera walk and go and take photos of all those interesting things. The second habit is to become a collector of ephemera. So basically, just start collecting all those interesting things. Keep those tickets, keep some interesting receipts or bits of paper that you come across. Anytime you notice that something interesting comes into your life, a label, a menu, if you find it kind of interesting and something that you think you could utilize, start collecting and keeping that. Have a box for it or a folder or something where you can put it all away so that you can use it as a resource hub. Whether you want to just scan it and then throw it away, that's fine. Or if you want to collect them so that you can then use them to create other things. Maybe you want to put them together and make some sort of collage or textures with them. There's plenty of different ways you could utilize these things, but just get in that habit of actually collecting them so that you're not just simply throwing out all these possibilities that you've got. Now, habit 3 is crafting and creating with things you have. So when I talked about creating your own elements, you might have started thinking, oh, I'll have to go out and get some nice paper. I've got to go out and get some paint and I have to get some cardboard. And don't overcomplicate this unless you've got some really specific vision, something you really want to create that you need some extra tools for. Just look around the house and see what you've got. That sort of will push your creativity more of thinking, what could I do with what I've already got? So look through your kids' craft cabinet, look through all those hobbies that you started and then just put aside somewhere. There's probably things in your house that you could utilize to create things. In the past, when we've done home renovations and I've had some spack filler and house paint, I've utilized that to then go and make things. I've raided my kids' craft stuff to create things. You don't need to go out and buy specific stuff for this. You can be really creative. Look for old magazines you've got lying around, old newspapers, anything that's just there already, you can utilize to create interesting elements. And the final habit is actually having a place to put all this, having a folder. So you may have a digital folder where all the scans and photos can live, and depending how big this gets, you may want folders within that folder, and also a physical place. So if you are starting to collect interesting bits of paper and things you find, have somewhere where you can keep all that. That way it's easier to get organized and to find things when you want to create stuff. Basically having those resources available and ready for you to use. Now by doing this over time, you're going to be able to create a beautiful collection of really unique elements that no one else can find. So try out some of those habits, try creating some fun and interesting elements, get that folder started and start putting away some interesting things, take some photos, create some interesting elements, really have fun making your brand unique. And if you'd like to learn more about graphic design, creativity, and using Canva, make sure you subscribe, and happy creating.